His nose is already moving. And a left hook.
The sister of the living legend Alex Pereira always had big shoes to fill. But luckily, Aline Pereira is very clearly cut from the same cloth as Poatan.
Right after his last title defense.
And yes, that insane punching power is definitely genetic. Buckle up for a wild ride as we show some vicious knockouts from the sister of the legend.
Wow!
This is Fighting S-Art. Here we go.
That left hook is a family gene, it looks like.
Aline's kickboxing debut came in 2017, where she took on Rayane Vieira. Size and power would, of course, come into play, but you can really see the technical difference between the two from the get-go.
This is the first round of...
You don't bring the Pereira name to the ring unless you have something to show for it.
Round 2 of 3.
Round 2 saw her bring out some newfound intensity.
Nice left hand there from Aline Pereira.
She got a little wild at times, but remember, this was early in her career.
That's her. Now got inside, windmilling those punches out there.
It was clear that her opponent was totally out of her depth here.
Nice body shot from Aline. Another knee from Aline.
Pereira would have preferred a finish, but it was a confident performance and a unanimous decision victory. The 22-year-old Maisa Borges would be next for Pereira, marking Aline's second fight as a pro. Gauging the distance and timing of her opponent was key in these opening exchanges.
Getting each other out, looking.
But that didn't mean that Pereira wasn't gunning for Borges' chin, desperate to get the finish that eluded her in her last fight.
A great counter by Maisa.
Just as she did in her last fight, Pereira opened up in round 2, looking to put a hurting on her opponent whenever possible.
And there she goes. She has a determined look on her face.
The variety of strikes on show was already becoming a problem from Borges, just as the distance Aline was keeping was starting to get in her way.
There she goes again, Aline hitting with that left. There she goes. Maisa was able to move in quickly with that great left jab.
Stamina management was something this young fighter would continue to work on, but that Pereira left hook was always in play.
Left high kick. It was blocked by Maisa, but it almost got through.
A side kick, which was more of a push than anything else, did cause Pereira to go down briefly, although it wasn't a knockdown. But she wouldn't let this faze her.
Oh, there goes a short left side kick, knocked Aline to the ground, caught her in the mix.
But it was Pereira who finished stronger, upping her intensity, even though Borges was difficult to put down.
Punching attacks. Now Aline's moving her back, she's gone. There goes the end of it.
Another win on the scorecards, which was crucial momentum for this young fighter. But trust us, these early performances would eventually see Aline grow into a fearsome offensive talent.
By Aline, and followed by a left high kick. It was blocked by Maisa, but it almost...
The 6'1" Tatiana Campos was next, a step up in competition that would see Pereira aiming for her third win in the ring.
Aline Pereira.
This time, the pace was a lot higher off the bat, with Campos setting the early tempo.
Tatiana Campos coming in with great boxing skills, left and a right, throwing loud.
Campos's game plan was clear. Make the fight dirty and look for opportunities to force Pereira into a mistake.
The mark easily blocked by Tatiana. Tatiana moves in close, tries to get in with those boxes.
Yet another side kick thrown by a shorter opponent briefly knocks Pereira over.
Strong kicking skills from Tatiana. There she goes with a great side kick to the midsection of Aline.
But this time, watch how quickly she tries to tag her back, nailing her with that famous Pereira family left hook.
Great punches, counterattacks after she was knocked down by a brutal side kick.
The ferocity continues to build and build as Pereira starts to fire off that lethal left hook with increasing accuracy and power, forcing the standing 8 count.
Really not very happy. Tatiana getting the 8 count, really not happy. This is going to make her really upset. I would be surprised if she doesn't come back with a lot of it.
If you're looking for the fight where Aline Pereira started to come into her own as a puncher, this is it.
Still got a lot of step. And there she goes good left and a good right. And she is moving in for the kill.
The damage was clearly starting to wear on Campos,
There she gets off.
and Aline was noticeably growing in confidence.
Catching Ditcheva as she moves it back, and Aline just bombarding her with a barrage of punches.
There was obviously still some work to do on her ability to hurt and finish opponents, but Pereira's growth was clear.
Right side of the face, excellent punches. You could see it still was a good counter. When there was a good attack by Ditcheva.
Another confident and assured performance to take home the decision.
And Aline Pereira, a unanimous decision.
If you fight an opponent with 110 bouts under their belt, you're gonna learn a thing or two about yourself. Aline was now officially ranked in the top 10 at her weight. And as a result, the easy fights were officially over.
Pereira's going to want to come in with
The first round did prove tricky for the less experienced Pereira, as she struggled to gain any forward momentum. Although the judges all gave her the point on offer.
Well on it. Yep, they're going to have
As always though, that left hook is generally at the very front and center of everything she does well.
And for Pereira.
Yep, that's the aggressive style she needs, that she's known for.
Boy, she does look a lot like her brother.
But when the moment to attack came, Pereira attacked.
Too. Some of our more dominant champions, you know, are
In round 3, it was clear that the time for aggression had come.
very aggressive third round.
The left hook, again, was absolute money for Pereira in the final few minutes.
Front kick from Pereira, followed left hook.
They both go down.
We get the feeling that Pereira could have done some real damage with a few more minutes to work. But for now, another decision moved her closer to the title.
Pereira's glory debut ended in a winning fashion as she lands a couple of punches. Her boxing is obviously way better than the Thailand fighter, Forte Haran, and that will do it. We'll go to the judges' scorecard. Brother Alex thinks she got the job done. What say you? Very impressive in her glory debut, a unanimous decision.
Pereira becomes truly violent. This is it.
That's that long, straight snapping punches I talked about.
Seriously, this is more violent than the last few fights combined. Pereira was putting it all together beautifully.
Knee to the face.
And a big straight right-handed kid. Crystal Lawson completely out of her league so far.
After suffering 2 knockdowns in no time at all, Crystal Lawson was hanging on by a thread here.
That's it. The referee waves it off, and it was easy work for Aline Pereira.
This wasn't a fight, it was a demolition job.
Gotta feel bad, though, for Crystal Lawson. Was so excited. And here's the first.
It was clearly a big moment for Pereira. The first performance in her career that was truly worthy of her family name. And it wouldn't be the last either.
Get inside of that reach for Lawson was just way too difficult.
This impressive win was enough to finally book Aline her first shot at Glory Championship gold. Facing a 2-time Glory champion in the middle of her second title reign would be a different level of test for Aline Pereira. Tiffany Van Soest was clearly the best opponent she had faced. The experience gap here was clearly a tremendous one. But this fight would be part of a learning curve for Aline.
I think Tiffany's going to be playing with how is she going to...
Pereira's size and power advantage was clear, but she was coming up against a masterful technician here.
Tiffany's adding some different angles, though. She's trying to throw that lead hand on and looking forward.
Tiffany was fighting the correct fight, using her feints and her footwork to confuse the more linear Pereira's movement. You could see the champ's confidence growing in round 2.
Title bout. And that shot from Tiffany hurt Pereira. I think some similarities with Pereira, considering you didn't have much experience at all when you came to Glory. You got a title shot.
By the third, Tiffany was really starting to take over, showing the inexperience of Pereira in full light.
Not looking confident. I think that body work from Tiff is starting to add up.
Pereira had some moments of success, but they were few and far between. And this was her first ever taste of the championship rounds.
Tiffany down.
There you go. Push forward.
Yeah.
There's the 1-2.
It was clear that the champ was in command of this fight as the 4th round died down.
Pereira starting to shrink up against the ropes.
Step back. Step back.
In the end, it was a test that Pereira was simply not equipped to overcome just yet.
And Pereira was
But that was about to change in a huge way with her next career move.
Utilize that huge high advantage.
As it turns out, Aline Pereira and Karate Combat were a match made in heaven.
Shoulder there, behind.
A short feeling out process in her new home was to be expected, but it didn't last long.
More nervous for my students, so I can only imagine my daughter.
And her natural power was clearly translating well to these Karate Combat gloves.
See, otherwise you're going to get countered.
The crowd were very clearly on her side. And it didn't take long for the hammer to come down. The left hook was the shot that proved to be fatal, the perfect introduction for her to the world of Karate Combat. First round KO.
But that was an overhand punch.
Wow. Yeah, that left hook is a family gene, it looks like.
left hook right at the bell.
But could she repeat the feat? Well, her second matchup in her new home would tell all.
Let's see.
A cagey start soon gave way to the first glimpses of violence.
Sat down on that strike and the right hand lands again.
If the first round was the feeling out process, the second would bring about the execution.
Final 10 seconds of this round, it's gone by very quickly, but first really good bit of offense from Torres here.
And that's a confidence booster.
The intensity was instantly higher in the second round, and it did not take long for Aline to find her moment.
Big left hook lands. That's the shot she was looking for, and the referee has called a stoppage here. Whoa.
Was the stoppage a little premature?
Follow up, she's off balance.
Perhaps. Either way, the end result likely would have been the same. A dominant win to move to 2-0 under the Karate Combat banner.
Stoppages, but she's still engaged in defense here.
Remember, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and a comment before subscribing to the channel so you don't miss any of our weekly uploads. Thanks for tuning in.